Hello, and welcome to the inaugural Young Gun of Wine Vineyard of the Year Awards. My name is Max Allen, and I'm going to exercise my right to shamelessly plug my latest book, Intoxicating 10 Drinks That Shaped Australia. I wrote that. I write about wine. I write a lot about wine growers and about vineyards and sustainability and innovation, all the things that this awards event is about. I'd like to acknowledge that this broadcast is coming to you from Melbourne, the land of the Boonwurrung and Wurundjeri people. I'd like to pay my respects to elders, past, present and emerging, both here and in all parts of the country where you are watching this from. I know that a lot of people are watching us. I know that some are having watch parties, so shout out to Grey Lynn Estate in Margaret River, for example. Good to see you, thanks for joining us. What's it all about? The Vineyard of the Year Awards. Well, when Rory Kent, the founder of the Young Gun of Wine, came to me about 9 months ago and said, I want to do an awards for vineyards. We've done awards for winemakers, for wine sellers. Let's do an award program that recognises how and where the grapes are grown and who grows them and the importance of the vineyard. It's a conversation that I don't think we've had enough in Australia, and it's a very important conversation that I hope these awards will contribute to. But how do you reward or award vineyards around Australia? Well, the first thing that Rory did is assemble a panel of judges that helped him create the criteria for the awards and then judge those awards. So we'd like to thank Dr. Mary Cole, a viticultural and farming consultant, Dr. Peter Dry and Dr. Marty Longbottom, both very heavily involved in academia and viticulture in the University of Adelaide and the Australian Wine Research Institute, the Australian Grape and Wine and the Australian Society of Viticulture and Enology. Dr. Irina Santiago-Brown, who is a grower and co-owner of Inkwell Wines in McLaren Vale, sustainability wine growing expert, and the inaugural Viticulturist of the Year at the Australian Women in Wine Awards, and Mark Walpole, a well-known and multi-award winning viticulturist and grower at Fighting Gully Vineyard in Beechworth. Once we'd come up with the criteria, we invited entries from around the country. We got dozens and dozens and dozens, a fantastic response for the first year. Then we all got together and whittled that down to a list of 50 finalists. And of those 50 finalists, and I'm going to talk a lot more about those 50, we agreed that some of them should be inspected, so ground-truthed, if you like, what their claims were in their entries, by some consultants around the country. So people actually visited all of the vineyards that have won awards tonight to check that what the wine growers were claiming was true. And we'd like to thank those inspectors, Chris Penfold in South Australia, Colin Bell in Western Australia, John Whiting here in Victoria, Kelly Graham in Tasmania, and Liz Riley, who inspected the vineyards in New South Wales and the ACT. And then it got really tough. Coming down to just having to narrow that field down to 4 to win these awards was a almost impossible task because there were so many worthy vineyards. But we did, and that's what we're going to be awarding tonight. We have these 4 trophies that were created especially for this event. As you can see, here together they form a pattern that's a little bit like a soil profile, hence the fabulous display behind me. But individually, they will be given out to each of the award winners. I just want to say that the whole process was unbelievably inspiring. It was kind of heartening. It was a joyful process to look through all the entries and especially those 50 finalists. This happened at the end of lockdown last year during the pandemic, so it was a great way of kind of vicariously visiting some of these vineyards. We had newcomers like Mewstone in Tasmania to older vineyards, well-established vineyards who are doing new things in their vineyards like Cape Mantell and Penley in Margaret River and Penley Estate in Coonawarra. We saw innovations from new varieties at places like Chalmers to reviving old Australian grape varieties at Small Fry in the Barossa. We had old vineyards being revived, like Willamie in Macedon and Somerset in the Hunter. We had fantastic community engagement initiatives and real innovation in agricultural technology from places like Bowyer Ridge and the Adelaide Hills. We had holistic approaches to sustainability from Crittenden Estate on the peninsula to absolutely fastidious biodynamics at Hopkirk, say. We were reintroduced to familiar vineyards like Chirillo in the Barossa, and we come across totally new growers like Pippin Steel in the Alpine Valleys. And really importantly for me, there were a lot of entries from pure growers. So growers who supply fruit to other makers but don't necessarily have labels of their own. People like Dalwitz in the Barossa or Malakoff in the Pyrenees. And we also had growers who have a label of their own but also supply fruit. Bernard and Wayne Smart and McLarenville, for example, we've got a couple of the Grenaches made by Steve Pannell and Wollonga 100 here. And Swinney and Franklin River that make their own wine but also supply La Violetta and Brave New Wine. This was really important because a big factor of this awards was community engagement, was the whole network of growers and producers, and it was a sense that we were tapping into a conversation about and promoting a conversation about creating a culture of wine growing in this country. It was also about finding vineyards that produced great wine, because kind of you can be as sustainable as you like, you can be as innovative as you like, but if the grapes aren't good and if the wine isn't good, then what's the point? Lovely Vermentino from the Swinney Vineyard via La Violetta in Western Australia. Now, before we go any further, we couldn't have done any of this without our sponsors. So I'd like to throw to some messages from those sponsors.
G'day, Adam Davies from Stoller Australia, proud sponsors of the Young Gun of Wine Awards. We'd like to congratulate the nominees and winners today. A strong part of Stoller's values is about innovation and people, so we're really proud to be involved with the movers and shakers in this industry. Stoller's technologies aim to assist in bringing the best wines to market. So for you group of people that are coming through, it's about continuing that development and bringing better products to the domestic and Australian market overall. So congratulations to you and enjoy the future path for you.
FMR Group is proud to present these awards because as a company we have specific focus on innovation and quality in our products, and our team are passionate about our values, so we love to see the same passion in our customers, the grape growers. On behalf of the FMR Group team, we wish to congratulate all of the 50 finalists. To be singled out as a finalist in these awards from over 6,000 grape growers throughout Australia is an incredible accomplishment. At FMR Group we work across all states and supply our equipment to vineyards ranging from a few hectares to a few thousand hectares, and we see incredible examples of our innovative practices with a strong commitment to continually improving the quality in their product, their practice and their sustainability. There are so many inspiring stories from these people and places, and we look forward to seeing them. So congratulations and see you soon.
G'day everyone, Rob Clayton here. Nutrient Ag Solutions is proud to support the inaugural Vineyard of the Year Awards. Congratulations to all 50 finalists to be recognised in these awards. It's an incredible achievement. 2020 was a challenging year for so many reasons, but I continue to be impressed with the resilience and innovation of the wine industry. Good luck tonight, all the best, and have a safe and successful 2021.
Roundwood Solutions are proud sponsors of the Young Gun of Wine Awards. We believe our new improved creosote treated posts are part of the future in the viticultural industry. With less leaching, better handling, OH&S benefits and end-of-life solutions. Our carbon neutral new improved creosote post will be the benchmark in trellis formation. On behalf of Roundwood Solutions, I'd like to congratulate the 50 finalists tonight. With more than 6,000 grape growers across Australia, it's a huge accolade to be a potential winner in these awards. Your energy and enthusiasm for what you do is commendable, as you all forge the future of the wine industry.
On behalf of Netafim, I'd like to congratulate the finalists in the inaugural Vineyard of the Year Awards. It's quite an achievement to be picked out of 6,000 growers across Australia, and Netafim is thrilled to be a part of this because sustainability is at our core. and we're about helping growers to grow more with less. And sustainability, of course, is a key factor in determining this year's finalists. Thank you to Rory and all the organisers for this auspicious occasion, and we wish you all the best of luck and congratulations once again.
Well, first of all, thank you very much to the sponsors. It was great to see that some of them really went to town with the production values. I'm a little bit upset now that I haven't got a crane or a dolly or even maybe a drone shot happening tonight, but I'll make do. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Let's have our first award for this evening. This is for New Vineyard of the Year. We thought it was really important to not just have this awards event open to well-established producers who have been honing their craft and ploughing their furrow for many, many years. We wanted to encourage vineyards that were less than 10 years old to also enter, because we know that out there are many new vineyards that have been put into the ground in the last decade that are really pushing the boundaries of viticulture, that are doing new things, that are kind of staking a claim for the future of viticulture in this country. So we are going to hopefully now cross to Hayden Coombs from Nutrien, one of our sponsors, who is at a secret location. There he is. Hayden, can you hear me? You can, just, I can't hear you. So all you need to do is show me that do you have the trophy with you? Excellent. Oh, there it is. I love this. This is like, I don't know what this is like. It's like, hey, it's Saturday or something. And this is your life. Am I showing my age? I think I am. Okay, Hayden, thank you very much. We'll come back to you in a couple of minutes. Great. Okay, so for the first award tonight, drum roll, please. There it is. The award for New Vineyard of the Year, the inaugural year, goes to Place of Changing Winds in the Macedon Ranges. And there they are. Rob and Remy, can you hear me? You might have to unmute your, can you unmute? Can't hear you. There it is. No. Sign language. Can you hear me? Okay, this is live, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see. Let's do a testing. Can you hear me now, Rob? I think he's trying to unmute now. Yes? Still nothing? It was all going so well. Hopefully, as we talk, why don't I just do a little bit of a spiel then, and I can do your talking for you, and hopefully you'll receive a surprise visitor any minute. So what we were looking for as judges in these awards, in each category, because there were so many worthy contenders, were vineyards that stood out from the crowd for doing different things, or doing things in a way that nobody else did in that category. And of course, as you may know, Place of Changing Winds has developed a reputation in the last few years for its approach to, its single-minded approach to the pursuit of quality in Pinot Noir particularly. Among other aspects of that, in that pursuit of quality, is the incredible kind of crazy high density planting from 12 to 33,000 vines per hectare. There's much, much more to it than that I would love to be able to talk to the guys about, but I can't because they've just disappeared. So it's not just the high density, that's a very important part, but it's also organic certified viticulture. It's about a lot of hand work in the vineyard. So it's kind of an insane approach to viticulture because it doesn't really make financial sense. But the idea is that the end result will bring the returns that justify the means. It's also a vineyard that I know Rob Walters established as a kind of showpiece, if you like, for extreme approaches to viticulture. Are we there? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
you can hear us.
You're good now.
Yeah, you're
Oh, oh, thank God. Okay.
It's gone now.
Is it through your phone?
No,
No.
can hear us.
No. So.
Okay, good.
Awesome. So, yes. What do we do now, Max?
Well, you tell me how chuffed you are to win this award.
Oh, we are so chuffed. And obviously surprised and humbled. And there's a strange man at our door with a big piece of metal.
Well, I think you should let him do what he wants with that big piece of metal.
Okay.
Oh, well, I might go.
Yeah. Okay, you got that.
Congratulations.
Thanks so
Well
much.
deserved.
Wow, it's heavy. Okay. Thanks very much. And I'm here with Remy, Max, and also Tom Trewin, who do 90% of the work here, and obviously it's very much a collaborative effort. So look, it's really exciting to get a gong. We got involved because Rory called me about the awards or sent me a message about the awards, and I thought, you know what, this kind of thing is great. We want to support it in any way we can, because as you mentioned, there hasn't been enough conversation about vineyards historically in Australia. So I think the work that all the finalists on here do is incredible, and I think we're seeing so much progress and movement in Australia over the last 5-10 years. So it's very exciting, and it's great to get recognition. So thank you. Thanks to all the.
It's still early days, right? So you're only a few vintages in, and I know that it hasn't always been easy, right? So you've had a few tough years, and things haven't always gone to plan. Why continue? What is it about what you're doing that makes you feel that you really want to keep plugging? Because you're ploughing a heap of money into this, right? This is a crazy venture. We actually thought about coming up with an extra award for the Crazy Old Bastard Award. What is it about this venture that keeps you going, and what's the end result for you? What's the end game?
Well, look, this venture started as a crazy idea to see what could happen if I sort of, my background is a wine buyer. So, I've spent the best part of 20 years visiting producers and trying to understand the relationship between place and quality and greatness. And, this project is about kind of distilling that experience down and then, even going further if possible in a specific place in Australia. And a lot of that learning's been in Australia, a lot of that learning's been in Europe and around the world. But, once you start, to answer your question, it's pretty hard to stop with vines once they're in the ground. So, look, the last 8 or 9 years has been a hell of a ride. It's been incredibly stressful. Lots of things haven't gone to plan. We took a lot of risks. And I don't think I'd be standing here talking about it if it wasn't for the people who are involved with me in the venture, in terms of the guys on the ground with Remy, who's been a spectacular manager for the last 3 or 4 years, and Tom, who's actually holding up the computer right now. But and we're actually looking for a third person at the moment, if anyone's looking for work. But look, it's been a ride, and as I say, not everything's gone right, but we feel, vines trick you. They're very clever at seducing you into pushing forward to the next season. They suggest they might give you more fruit next year, or they might give you better quality next year. And so there's always the next vintage. It's a bit like a football team. There's always the next week. No matter how much you get flogged that week, you might actually be able to redeem yourself the following weekend. So it's a bit like that. But look, it's also, as everyone here knows, it's incredibly rewarding. You learn so much. And, it's a special thing to be close to a place, to be close to, nature, and to be producing something that so hopefully so closely reflects that place. That's something very special. That's why we're all in wine.
Beauty. Thank you very much. Well done to everybody up there in the Macedon Ranges, to everybody at the Place of Changing Winds. I'm sure you'll enjoy the rest of your evening. And thanks to Hayden once again for making the trek out and to be the surprise trophy giver. Thanks, guys. All right, so moving right along, we're going to go to the opposite extreme, from a vineyard that's small and only a few years old, to the award for Old Vineyard of the Year. Now, again, we thought this was a really important award to have and to promote, because it's one thing planting a vineyard and having great dreams of drinking your own wine under the shade of a tree at the end of the day. It's another thing being the custodian of that plot of land and the vines that are planted there over many, many generations. And we know that in Australia there are many vineyards that are at least 35 years. That was our cutoff point. But we had entries from vineyard owners, vignerons, wine growers around the country that are the proud owners of vines that are much, much older than that. So we are going to cross, hopefully, to Neville Marra of Syngenta in his mystery location. Okay, he's in such a remote mystery location that we're having technical difficulties. If I don't get him on the line any second to talk about, just to make sure that he's there with the trophy, I think I might just go to the announcement of the award. It's not actually like, hey, it's Saturday, or hey, it's Tuesday in this case. It's more like, I don't know, what's it like? It's the news or something. We're crossing now to Neville in a mystery location. No, we're not. So I'm just going to announce the award. The award for Old Vineyard of the Year goes to, drum roll please. There it is. Gee, they're heavy. Best's Concongela Vineyard in Great Western. There he is. That bit worked. G'day, Ben. You might have to unmute yourself if you're on a... Can we do that? Oh. Or get somebody else to unmute yourself.
He found us.
There
you go okay? Hang on.
Yep. Thanks.
Yeah, better not, sorry.
All right.
He did actually find it, but the internet's pretty shit around here, so.
Oh, fair enough. But I can see you perfectly well, and I can hear you. Yeah. How are you going out there in Great Western? You must be in the middle of vintage right now, right?
No, we haven't really started vintage yet. We've done a little bit. Everything's very late at the moment. And a bit slow.
Look behind you.
Congratulations on behalf of Syngenta. Job well done. No worries. Thank you. Really good work. Yeah, no, thank you very much. Oh, it's a heavy little sucker. There you go.
It certainly is. So I don't need to ask you how you feel. It's a heavy little sucker.
He's gone already.
He's got a long drive back.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's it. He's out of there. Call him back. Call Neville back. I'll just tell my producers to call Neville back. He can stay the night, apparently. I think they might be celebrating tonight out of Great Western. There he is.
Well, he accepted the invite. Yeah, you can stay. No, do you want to?
Is he allowed to have a wine?
He's going to have a wine.
Excellent. I think he should. Best is quite a well-known vineyard to a lot of Australian wine lovers. We just talked to people out in the Macedon Ranges who are tending vines that are less than 10 years old. Tell us how old your oldest vines are out there at Best's.
Our earliest plantings were the 1860s. So they're quite old, and I get asked a lot how long will they last, and I have no idea, to be honest. It's like asking how long's a piece of string. I think they're all dry grown. The old ones, the nursery blocks, all dry grown. The Thompson family and all those, they're all dry grown. So it's I don't know how long they last, but to me, you don't think about it a lot until someone asks you about the old vineyards, and that's when you sort of realise that you're sitting on such a treasure for the Australian wine industry and all that. And I think, especially one of our little blocks, commercially, it's not very viable, but historically it's very important to the industry because we've got varieties in there that nowhere else in the world and nowhere else in Australia. So it's quite a pleasure to win an award like this for looking after old vines, basically.
how do you keep yourself interested and entertained? Because if you're looking after the same patch of vines year in, year out for decade after decade, doesn't it get a bit, I don't know, not boring, but how do you keep yourself challenged? What do you do to kind of keep the momentum, not just you, but also the whole team, the whole community there at Best's?
I think the whole thing, the big thing about growing grapes, it's not about me. It's not about an individual person. Same with making wine. It's about a team. It's the whole team thing. To keep yourself motivated, I've always said, try not to overcomplicate things. So if you don't overcomplicate things, I think you feel like things come a bit easier to you. Your thinking's a bit freer. So we quite often just, say, oh, let's try this or let's try that, to do different things. And you learn a lot of other people, like the Australian viticulture industry and wine industry in general. Bloody good, if I've got a problem, I can generally ring anyone, or, they'll tell me this, or they can ring me, or whatever sort of thing. So, but to keep yourself motivated, I think it's every day is a different day, because we're dealing with Mother Nature 100% of the time. So you can do everything you think's perfectly right, but she can come along and give you a kick in the bum straight away in one day, and all of a sudden everything's completely different. So that keeps you on your toes all the time. But it's a great industry to be in, I've got to admit.
And one more thing that I find fascinating is I believe some of your Shiraz blocks and other blocks have been used as source material for cuttings that are now being planted or have been planted around the country. Tell me about that.
Yes, we didn't know that was happening, actually, to be honest. I'm going to be honest, we had a nursery, and I did some picking in another vineyard, and they said, this is best clone. I said, oh, where'd you get best clone from? They said, such and such and such and such. So I sort of didn't say any more after that. But we had some Riesling vines in our nursery block that people from Germany came across and got, because that was the only true clone left in the world of that Riesling clone, because their clone in Germany had been so bastardised. So we've got 9 vines in the nursery block where they came back and took cuttings from those and took them back to Germany, because they were the original vines.
And one more example of that I came along to a couple of years ago, the replanting of Pinot Meunier in Geelong. Can you just tell us that story? You tell the story, and I'll say why it's kind of important after that.
Yeah, we've never had phylloxera here, so we've never had that problem. So we've got the original vines from the 1860s, which is Meunier, where a lot of other areas sort of lost their plantings during the phylloxera thing. So we're not sure, but we're pretty confident we have the oldest Pinot Meunier and Pinot Noir in the world. So what basically happened is they wanted to get the Pinot Meunier going back then in the Geelong region. So they came and took cuttings off our original vines from the 1860s, and they've done a replanting down in the Geelong region to rejuvenate the Pinot Meunier down in that region.
So I think this is a magnificent example of why these old vineyards are so important. You never know what the future brings, as Ben said. You never know what nature is going to bring in the next year, the next decade. And having this repository of genetic material, it's not just genetic material, it's cultural material. So the idea that you're bringing back a grape variety that was grown in Geelong in the 1850s and 60s, phylloxera wiped it out, and now it's able to be replanted in Geelong because of the precious resource you've got there. I mean, I think we don't really give enough credit to that as Australians, really understanding this heritage that we have. So it's great to see that this award is recognising your custodianship of that heritage.
Yeah, it's interesting. You don't. Me being here, I've lived here my whole life, and I'm 5th generation here, and all that blah blah blah. But you don't really realise how invaluable it is until someone actually talks to you, because you're living and breathing it all the time. And when someone stops and asks and talks to you about it, that's when you go, oh, hang on, yes, this is really important to the Australian wine industry, because you're just part of it all every day. And it's a bit like if you do the same thing all the time, it sort of becomes a little blasé, or not so much blasé, but you don't think about it until someone asks you and you go, well, hang on, no, this is quite important to the Australian industry and all that. And we've got so many varieties out there, it's just bizarre. We've done a replanting of the nursery block, and You know, some vines now at the moment, it's been quite dry here. The berries are falling off, and others are growing like mad. So it's it's just to have them all in the same row, and you can see what performs well and what doesn't perform well, and all that. It's quite amazing.
Now, there, to the audience playing along at home, was a real-time live illustration of the phenomenon known as, never stand between a grower and his next glass of wine. As soon as he said blah, 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 I knew that we were losing you. So we're going to we're going to move on to the next award and let you make great new friends with Neville. Thanks, Neville. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, everybody at Bests, and well done for the Old Vineyard of the Year award. Right, before we get to the next award, which is the Innovation in the Vineyards, or the Innovative Vineyard of the Year, also known as the Groundbreaker, I just wanted to point out that we've had a bit of a wine change here on the table, that we've now got a couple of braces of red wine from two vineyards that are known within the wine trade and the wine industry, but not necessarily so well known as to the consumer, because the names on the front of the labels or the back of the labels are the wine growers, the wine makers, the producers, but the people who actually grew the grapes and therefore determined the quality of the wine are also listed on the label, but it's the vineyard. It's the vineyard that's the key here. This is a growing trend in Australia, pardon the pun, and it's a really good one, that certain vineyards like Malakoff in the Pyrenees and Dalwitz in the Barossa are forging really long-term great relationships with producers and growing grapes to the producers' requirements. So, for example, we have Owen Latter and Ray Nardison at Latter Vino and Lethbridge, respectively, both taking Nebbiolo from the Malakoff vineyard and taking that fruit into their own style directions. But it's the quality of the fruit underpinning it that's the important thing. It's important that we make that point, because I think it's something that came up through these awards, is this trend towards vineyards, catering to winemakers' needs and providing the base fruit. Also applies to the winner of this year's Innovative Vineyard of the Year. And what we mean by innovative is when the wine growers entered the awards, we asked them to stipulate the innovations that they're putting in place in their vineyard. That might be new ways of growing grapes. It might be new varieties for that region. It might be the use of agricultural technology. It might be a whole raft of things that indicated that what they're doing was breaking new ground, hence the Groundbreaker name. And to award this trophy in a mystery location, hopefully, we are crossing to Tanya McEnany. Did I say your name right, Tanya?
Close enough.
Oh, what is it?
McEnany, that's right.
McEnany, oh, okay, it's right. You just Tanya McEnany of Nutrien, who hopefully has the trophy. You have the award on you.
I do, right here in my arms.
Excellent, and
you're
about to pounce. Now you look
ready to go.
You look like you're in the outback somewhere, but I'm not going to give anything else away. But I think we need a drum roll so that we can turn this award over and I can announce the winner. They really are very heavy. The Innovative Vineyard of the Year award, the Groundbreaker, goes to Richer Terra Farms Caravel Vineyard in the Riverland. I might have given that away with the location. G'day, Ashley. Ashley, you're the winner.
How you going?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good.
Nice.
I don't know where the host is. It looks nowhere near our house.
Oh, really? Well, this could be interesting then.
She might have gone to the Riverland.
I think she might have gone to the Riverland. Oh well. Is she?
We're in the. Yeah. No, I don't know where she is. Sorry. The team's there. That's great news.
as the team should be, because it's not just one person. I mean, you're the person on the list and you're the person on the entry form, but it's a team thing. And one of the reasons why we felt that this was such a perfect fit for the innovation of the year, it's not just the new grape varieties, and we can talk about them in a minute, but it's also engaging with the local and wider community in a new and different way that I want you to talk about, because I think that's a really important part of the whole Richa ethos. So if you can just give us a little bit of...
Max, can you repeat? My mother-in-law just came in and interrupted me. So... So you have to repeat the question. She does that quite a bit.
Tell us about forging relationships with the local community and the wider winemaking community. Because I reckon most of the wine that comes from your vineyard isn't under your label. Would that be right?
Yeah, that's true. I'm wearing the one of my I guess one of our greatest producers, which is Brash Higgins, who's sort of converted the good old Gordo into something amazing called Zabibo, and we've got so many people now looking for Zabibo, which is fantastic. So a variety that's been treated as a humble sort of crappy variety now has got a bit of a sexiness about it. Here's the she wasn't in the Riverland.
I know my way around wine country. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I've got my hand. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, that's good. So no, thank you for that, and thanks for the sponsors as well. It's amazing. It's amazing to get something like this. I was sitting back before, and there's just so many great wine businesses, and I was just thinking that we're just so new in this game, and to get awarded this is amazing.
But in a way, what you're doing, we've talked about this many times over the years at the Alternative Varieties Wine Show and elsewhere. What you're doing is kind of the culmination of things that you've been pushing in your previous job, working for Yulumba and elsewhere. So it's tell us about the importance of growing the grape varieties that you're growing for a overused word, sustainable future for the Riverland.
Max, really, I'll be honest, I don't really know what I'm doing. It's really about, and I keep saying that the key of this is about dreaming. We've got 40 odd different grape varieties, and I don't know which ones are going to work and which ones aren't going to work. And I've been surrounded by so many great people in the industry, and particularly our team. But I love going and meeting Bruce and Jenny up there in Mildura, because it's just going out there and just looking at what Bruce is doing. He's one of my greatest inspirations in the wine business at the moment, or has been for many years. And I've said this many a times before, that if it wasn't for those guys, I probably still wouldn't have a vineyard. I would have given up growing, Chardonnay and Shiraz and Cabernet. So they've done a great job. So look, you just plant them and you have a crack. And I'm really, we've got 40 different wine. Like today, we've sent fruit off to Yass in our refrigerated truck to the guys at Melaleuca, and then they've got not Alternative. They've got, like I said, they've got Zabibo going there, and also Matara, hand-picked Matara whole vineyards that have been pulled out by many growers in the Riverland because they're not valued, and we've been buying or growing these vineyards and trying to save them. So I don't know what to say except for thanks, but I have to say a big thanks to our team. You said I've got a great team in the vineyard, being Matt, John, Wanda, Chloe, Wanda, Brody, Thompson. They're all one family after our vineyard. I've got a group here back in the office with Shelley. I've got our distributors being Sante and Altitude 701 and Felix down in Melbourne, Som and Liquid Library. It's just so many, and my wife and my family. So they're all part of this win, and it's great.
I think you answered my question somewhere in there. What's next?
Well, actually, I'm a bit tired because I've been doing a lot of truck driving at the moment. And what's next? So we're doing a cellar door. That's on the cards up in the Riverland. I've got the guys up from Sante tomorrow. What next is I've got all our team up for Sante, and we're going water skiing. So I've taken the day off for harvest, because I really think that's one thing that speaks. Maybe people know me. I'm from the Barossa, But the Riverland's a beautiful place, and we spend a lot of time getting our instead of investing in a sail, I invested in a ski boat, and I take people out skiing. I had William Downey and Patrick Sullivan out recently skiing, and they were blown away by the Riverland. I remember Bill going to me, sending me a message going, I can't believe this place. Why isn't this place being discovered more? So that's next. I'm going skiing tomorrow.
Once again, I think you've absolutely answered the question. I was expecting, I don't know, you were going to tell me that, Romanian grapes were the varieties of the future, but no, I think you've actually answered it in a much better way. So, Ashley, thank you so much. We're going to move on to the next award.
I have to say, and a big thanks to my mate Tom Ward, because if I don't thank him, he's going to be on the giving me a hard time. So, Tommy, thanks for all the telephone calls, mate. Cheers. And thanks, Max. Thanks, Rory. Thanks, everybody, for putting this together. Good job.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, and enjoy yourselves up there in the Anguston tonight. Okay, so before we move on to the final award, the Vineyard of the Year, I'd like to once again thank the sponsors: FMR Group, Netafim, Nutrien, Roundwood Solutions, Stoller, and Syngenta. And I'd also like to play a few messages from various people. I'm sure you'll recognise quite a few of them, talking about, sharing their thoughts of these awards, the Vineyard of the Year awards.
Hi, Karina from Salopian here. Just wanted to say a huge congratulations to all 50 finalists in the Young Gun Vineyard of the Year awards. We know the dedication it takes to growing things, so well done for battling the elements, Mother Nature, and hopefully being a bit sustainable along the way. Congratulations.
Congratulations to all the finalists. It really is such a special group of people and places. Here at Happy Boy, we feel so privileged to be pouring wine from some of your great vineyards. So a big thank you for all the hard work and dedication that results in such terrific juice in all of our glasses year on year. So thanks again, and good luck.
G'day, John Lethland here from The Australian. Enthusiastic eater, even more enthusiastic wine consumer. The first thing I want to say is congratulations to all the finalists for the 2020 Vineyard of the Year award. To make it this far is a true recognition of what you're doing for wine in Australia, and I'll be genuinely excited to learn who has taken the major honour later on tonight. And I think it's high time some recognition for vineyard sustainability, viticultural innovation, and excellence in the pursuit of varietal diversity were recognised with the same perspective as, say, the Delicious Produce Awards or the Eat Easy Awards, the way they do to acknowledge the produce that our chefs work with. Without excellence in the paddock, nothing great can happen. And honestly, I really do appreciate the joy of those paddocks and the pleasure they bring in the bottle. After a long courtship with Margaret River, I finally moved here after after a long courtship, and I moved in here 2 years ago, I guess. Within 10 minutes of our home are some outstanding estates, and in fact, my wife even works for a Willie Abrup-owned grower-producer. So viticulture is the foundation of the community, and as most of you know, living in a winemaking community is special. And the people who produce those grapes and who manage the science and the art and the luck of the vineyard are special people. To everybody who's assembled tonight waiting on the result, congratulations. Thank you for your contribution, and go Mars.
Congratulations, you did it. You made it to the final 50 for the Young Gun Vineyard of the Year 2020. I hope you're incredibly proud of yourselves. It's an amazing achievement. I've been really excited to see the developments in the last couple of years of people who are passionate about soil science, soil health, what that means in the bigger picture of the world and agriculture itself, but also as the difference that can make to the wines that we drink. Congratulations again. I'm really looking forward to seeing who's going to lift the trophy at the end of the day.
Hi everybody, Katie Spain here from WBM Magazine and the advertising newspaper. Look, I just want to say congratulations to the top 50 finalists in the Vineyard of the Year Awards. I'm so happy these awards are happening because I love you guys. You need more of a spotlight put on you, and you deserve more of a spotlight put on you. As a former farm kid, look, I just love telling your stories. I love interviewing you. They probably don't tell the winemakers my favourite stories to tell. Great work to anyone, I guess, champions out there in sustainability. And I picked grapes yesterday morning. This is kind of timely. It's a lot more difficult than people realise. I love you all, and I can't wait to tune in to find out who the winners are and to tell more stories. Good luck, guys.
Hi, I'm Paul Bangay, and I'd just like to congratulate all 50 finalists. What an amazing awards program. I believe gardens and vineyards go beautifully together. After creating the wonderful garden at the Barossa Valley Estate in the Barossa Valley, I can see how gardens merge beautifully with vineyards. So congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations to all of you who made the top 50 Vineyard of the Year 2020.
As a vigneron, or the wife of a vigneron, let's celebrate you. Let's find the best all over Australia. Go for it.
Hi, I'm Pip Courtney, the host of Landline. Congratulations to all the finalists. What a great list. I can see many future Landline stories hiding in there. What I'm so impressed about is the pursuit of excellence, and it's not just about the wine, it's also about biodiversity and fitting in with the environment. Congratulations, have a great awards, and cheers.
I think this idea of Vineyard of the Year is great. Of course, it's where it's all about, what it's all about. And I'm also thrilled about the focus on sustainability. And the main thing is that this, and I look forward very much to seeing who's won the trophies, but it's a massive achievement to be one of the 50. Congratulations.
Narrative, your industry, everything you produce is about sitting people down and creating conversation and narrative. Go forth with it, keep innovating, and best of luck to everyone tonight.
I reckon we could have just played that video on loop, and we would have absolutely captured what these awards are all about. I think we probably should. Maybe at the end we can just go back to it, because there were some fantastic messages there. There is one more award to give, and that is for Vineyard of the Year. Now, what we were looking for in Vineyard of the Year was the complete package. So we were looking for vineyards that were innovative, that were doing things differently, that were seriously exploring this concept of viability and sustainability, that were engaging with their wider community, that were producing fantastic wine, that had this kind of X factor. And again, there were so many finalists, vineyards that we discussed as potential winners of the award. But unfortunately, only one is able to win. And to present the trophy, I'm going to cross to Malcolm Jones of Syngenta. There he is. G'day, Malcolm. Oh, he's frozen. He is in a mystery location, though. I can see that.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can
you hear me? There he is.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, and I can see you fine.
I want to thank you for Syngenta's support of these awards, and wonder whether you had something to say about the importance of the awards to Syngenta.
Yes, thank you, Max. Yes, I do. I'm really privileged, I guess, in a sense, to be involved in these awards, and Syngenta's values and what Syngenta believe very much align with the young gun of wines. So it's all about the sustainability, the innovation, the striving towards excellence. That's what Syngenta is all about. That's what you guys are all about. That's what your growers are all about. So really, that's all I wanted to say on behalf of Syngenta, was that we strive for the same things that you're striving. We're very privileged to be part of this, and I feel quite privileged to be able to walk into somebody's lounge and give them a very heavy trophy in a couple of minutes.
So you have the trophy with you. Everything's set.
I do. It's very heavy. I wasn't going to hold it for half an hour. I don't think I could. So.
All right. So
I'll
put you out of your misery, and I'll announce the award so you can go and knock on somebody's door. So the award for Vineyard of the Year, Young Gun Vineyard of the Year, goes to, drum roll please, Mr. Music. There we go. I'm going to dramatically raise this award to the light, and hopefully it will, look at that, isn't that gorgeous? It is for Swinney Vineyard in Franklin River in Western Australia. Yeah, that's you guys. Hi, Swinney Vineyards. That's Matt Swinney and Lee Hazelgrove. How are you? Are you on mute? I think you might be. I can't hear you. Can you say something? Like how chuffed you are to win the award?
So overwhelmed we can't work the mute button.
Wow. You're literally speechless, right?
We were speechless, totally.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now. That's fantastic. While you're collecting your thoughts, and I'll ask you a couple of questions in a minute, what we really appreciated about Swinney is that it's a large vineyard. This is a serious commercial operation. Correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, but about 160 hectares, I think, producing everything from $150 a bottle Favi, Syrah and Grenache, right through to fruit sold to people like Brave New Wine. We saw them before, and La Violetta, and also Cabernet to major companies like Penfolds and Hardy's. And within this larger setting, you've also got some fascinating little pockets that I'm going to ask you to talk about. How long has the vineyard been going? Tell me a little bit about the background of the vineyard, Matt.
Thanks, Max. And first of all, I'm keen to say how honoured we are to be in the top 50, let alone chosen. It's very humbling and not what we expected off the bat. So the vineyard was established in the late 90s as originally as a vineyard destined to produce red fruit for BRL Hardy and Shiraz and Cabernet. And we've evolved it since then over the years by planting new varieties and also acquired a couple others as well.
And so was I right, about 160 hectares, something like that?
That's correct. It's actually a bit more, but that sounds like the right number.
And within that, so I visited this vineyard a couple of years ago, and one of the things that immediately struck me was the bushfire. Oh, there he is.
Nice to meet you.
Sorry, Max.
There you go. I'm going to say congratulations. And here's your trophy.
Thank you.
Let's see.
It is heavy. It's true.
It is, yeah.
Usual, and they're really special, I think, in a Western Australian context.
Well, I guess I had the benefit a long time ago visiting the Rhone Valley and Priorat, places like that, and saw how well those particular varieties perform as bush vines. And in the late 90s, early 2000s, we had a substantial Shiraz vineyard, and Shiraz was doing very well, does very well in Franklin River. So it felt right to us to, as a family, to plant Grenache and Mourvedre and Temp as bush vines. And there's a small indulgent pleasure here also, and that is when we planted Grenache, it was the first Grenache in the Great Southern. Everyone said it would never ripen. And so I guess when you plant it as bush vines on ironstone gravel on a north facing hill, it should ripen, and it does. And so it's a great pleasure for us to, I guess, prove some doubters wrong and produce a style of Grenache that's very different.
Now, that's easy for you to say, of course, because you're just the guy that writes the checks. Lee, tell us about what it's like to actually grow grapes there in this vineyard, because you've got this bespoke approach to grape growing. You've got so many. How many people buy fruit from the vineyard now?
Yeah, look, it's a reasonably complicated business to run, but I think we have about 35 customers at the moment. But that's a bit like Ash alluded to before. I mean, that's a privilege to go to work with such a diverse range of customers, but also because there's a whole range of knowledge and opinions that we can tap into and we can learn from as well. So even like you said, we've got the wine industry is great at sharing knowledge and things like that. So having that many customers is complicated in a way, but it's also both a privilege and an opportunity to pack in some pretty fast learning into a few years, because every year is different in a way, as we all know here. But when you bring in a range of customers like that, well, there's another level of complexity, but that's a great opportunity for us as well. So we do have quite a few training systems. So we do use bush vines on some varieties, and we've got a range of other systems in place as well. And we're really doing our best to perform at the scale we are. We obviously need a pretty strong team of people, which is probably a feature of what we have here as well. We've got a very good team, so we can't perform at this level without a good team.
So, Max, I'm keen to point out, I'm just the guy with the vision and the broad strategy. Lee's the guy who makes it all work and been with us for a long time, and Lee's role is obviously critical, and there's more other guys in the team as well, but Lee is the guy who made this work.
That's right, and the garden. Tell us about the garden blocks, because within this whole vineyard, you've got everything from $20 bottles to 150. Tell us about the pointy end. Tell us about this idea of kind of no compromise, the best of the best viticulture. It's a bit of a privilege, right, to be able to be given the ability to just grow the absolute best. Lee, tell us about what that's like. You have to just, the only criteria is give me the best fruit you can for the Syrah and Grenache.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is a privilege, and the brief roughly was that we kicked around for a while was just explore the absolute, just try everything to see what's possible from a few select sites on our property, and just go all out. And I'm lucky enough to spend a fair bit of time in Europe over the years visiting, as we probably all have, and you just these ideas sort of develop in your mind, and you wonder about them, and you think it'd be pretty cool to give them a go, and then the opportunity comes along to put all those things you've been wondering about for 15 or 20 years into a few hectares here and there across our property. It is a privilege, and we've been doing that for 4 or 5 years now, and we're starting to see the results of that. Maybe even a bit further down the track than that, we probably had a couple of years of really good results. But just to be able to go all out and do our best to connect those vines to the sites they're in, and stand back and let them express as closely as they can the characteristics of the sites that they're in is an amazing opportunity. And then to share that with a range of customers is pretty cool too.
And that absolutely sums up the point of these awards, I think, is connecting the vines to the country they're grown in and expressing that sense of place in the wine. And I think you're doing that fantastically well with the wines that you're producing there. I am going to congratulate you both once again. I don't know what you're going to do with that heavy award. It makes a fantastic doorstop, I believe. But I really want to say thank you to you guys, and also to all the award winners and the 50 finalists in this year. Thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon over there in Franklin.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
It's got much better.
And have a good vintage. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as they say, that is it for this evening. I would just like to reiterate the point that the process of being involved in these awards and judging these awards was really heartening. It was really encouraging to find so many fantastic examples, not just the 4 we've talked to tonight, but the other 46 on the list of people doing great things with their vineyards across the country. I would really seriously urge you to check out that list and just put aside some time to work through all the profiles of the producers. If you're involved in growing grapes, you will learn things, you'll be inspired to think about how you grow grapes perhaps differently. I think if people like Paul Bangay and Maggie Beer and Jancis Robinson and Costa urge you to do the same, I think we need to listen to them. And I would like to congratulate everybody involved. I'd like to thank you all for joining us. But most of all, I think that Loic had it right, that wine is an energy, and the source of that energy is the country in which the vines grow. So I'm going to raise a glass and say, here's to the country we're in, and here's to the people who are capturing little pieces of that country in the glass. Thanks very much for joining us, and see you next year.